Hello everyone. Today I will explain chapter 2 from the book English Phonetics and Phonology by Peter Roach. The topic is stress in simple words. Before we start, let me ask you a question. Why do native English speakers sound natural and fluent while English learners sometimes sound flat or robotic? One important reason is word stress. Word stress is very important in English because it affects pronunciation, meaning rhythm and communication. So today I will explain what word stress is, why stress is important, level of stress patterns in English words, shawa and unstressed syllables, English rhythm and stress timing. I will explain each part step by step so it is easy to understand. First, let's understand the basic idea. Word stress means one syllable in a word is pronounced more strongly than the others. The stress syllable sounds louder, longer, and clearer. For example, the word happy has two syllables, hap and p. We pronounce it happy, not happy. The first syllable is stronger, so it receives the stress. According to Peter Roach, stress makes one syllable more prominent than the others. This prominence helps create the natural rhythm of English. Without stress, English would sound flat and not unnatural. Now, let's talk about why stress matters. In English, stress can change meaning. For example, the word record, if we say record, it is a noun. Example, I bought a music record, but if we say record, it becomes a verb. Example, I want to record a video. So, even though the spelling is the same, changing the stress change is the meaning. This shows the stress is very important in English communication. Incorrect in stress can confuse listeners because native speakers expect certain rhythm patterns. That is why English learners should learn not only vocabulary and grammar but also stress patterns. Next, let's discuss the levels of stress. Stress is not simply stress or unstress. English actually has three levels of stress. Primary stress is the strongest stress in a word. Every content word in English has one primary stress. Examples: happy and joy. The stress syllable is pronounced more clearly and strongly. Secondary stress is weaker and primary stress but still noticeable. It usually appears in longer words. Example: celebration. Noun celebration. The syllable bra has primary stress while another syllable receives secondary stress. A secondary stress helps create smoother rhythm in long words. These are the weakened syllables. They are shorter, softer, and less clear. English often weakens and stress syllables to make speech faster and smoother. Now, we move to an important question. How do we know where stress falls in a word? English does not have perfect rules, but there are usual patterns. Usually stress falls on the first syllables. Examples: happy, cheerful, joyful, sunshine. These words follow the common pattern. Usually stress falls on the second syllable. Examples: enjoy, delight, believe. So, nouns and adjectives usually stress the first syllable while verbs often stress the second syllable. This pattern is very common in English. Now, let's discuss three-syllable words. These words are more difficult because the stress patterns are less predictable. Examples: wonderful, beautiful, exciting, fantastic. Some words stress the first syllable while others stress the second syllable. According to Alan Crattenden, heavier syllables often attract a stress. So, the sound structure of the word can influence stress placement. Now, let's look at what makes stress syllables sound stronger. According to Peter Rutherford and Kit Johnson, there are four important features. Stress syllables are louder. Example: happy. The first syllable sounds stronger. Stress syllables are longer. Native speakers stretch the vowels slightly. The voice often rises or falls on stress syllables. This creates the musical rhythm of English. The vowel in stress syllables sounds clear and full. Meanwhile, vowels in unstressed syllables become weaker. All four figures work together to create stress. Now, let's discuss one very important sound in English, the schwa. The schwa sound is U. It is the most common vowel sound in spoken English. Schwa usually appears in unstressed syllables. Examples: wonderful, happiness, pleasant. Notice that the unstressed syllables sound weak and relaxed. English speakers often reduce vowels in unstressed syllables. That is why English pronunciation can sound very different from spelling. Next, let's talk about English rhythm. English is called a stress-type language. This means stress syllables act like beats in speech. For example, what a wonderful morning. I feel so happy. The stress syllables create their rhythm. Meanwhile, unstressed syllables become shorter and faster. Indonesian is different because it is more syllable timed. In English, syllables usually receive similar timing. Because of this, Indonesian learners sometimes sound flat when speaking English. To sound more natural in English, learners need stronger stress syllables and weaker unstressed syllables. To sound more natural in English, learners need stronger stress syllables and weaker unstressed syllables. Conclusion. To conclude, word stress is a very important part of English pronunciation. Stress makes one syllable more prominent through loudness. To conclude, word stress a very important part of English pronunciation. Stress makes one syllable more prominent through loudness, late pitch, and vowel quality. English also has primary stress, secondary stress, and unstressed syllables. There are useful stress patterns. Nouns and adjectives usually stress the first syllable while verbs often stress the second syllable. Unstressed syllables often use the schwa sound, and English rhythm depends heavily on stress timing. Finally, the most important advice is when learning new vocabulary, learn the stress pattern together with the meaning and pronunciation, because in English stress is part of the identity of the word. Okay, thank you for listening.